Everyone, welcome back to the daily market recap. Today is 4th of September 2024. For today, again, we'll look at all these concepts when we do the market review, that is previous day high, previous day low, the candle formation of open high low close, open low high close, the power of 3. We'll look at the times as well as look for any imbalances or FEGs. We'll look at SMT as well as standard deviations. All right, so let's start with our weekly chart. We can see that we are right now in this daily or a weekly BISI, which is buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, or a fair value gap. However, you can notice that we have a balanced price range here. You see, like both of these two fair value gaps kind of overlap with each other. We call that as a balanced price range, and this is the area where you will see a maximum support for the price. So right now we have tapped into this range, so the idea is that this is probably the low and we are starting to expand higher. So like I mentioned yesterday, when we were reviewing the daily chart, I said that we tapped into the daily BISI, which is this one, and now there is a potential chance that we are just going to start expanding higher. So you can see that there is a balanced price range on the daily as well, and we have already tapped in here. So this is the day that got printed today. So you can see that we tapped into this daily BPR and now we are expanding higher, and that's what happened today. All right, so we going into Thursday we had a bullish price action, then on Friday we had a bullish price action. Monday was a Labor Day, so we did not have the market trading hours open, and then on Tuesday we saw a large push down. Today is Wednesday. You can see that the Wednesday did not move that much, and that's because we have non-farm payroll this week, and a day before non-farm payroll we usually do not see um, much price expansion, because that is the day where you'll have potential accumulation. So going into today, even though I was expecting price higher, which we saw, I was not expecting a large range to occur. Okay, so again, like we see, we moved lower on Tuesday, then we took the low of Tuesday, and then we expanded higher. We tapped into this daily and a weekly BPR. Okay, now going down to the 4-hour chart, we can see this is our 6 a.m. candle. We came down the 4-hour, you will see a series of 4-hour candles, and we created a lot of CBs, which is sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, which is nothing but fair value gaps. You can see there is one fair value gap here, the second one is here, and third one is here. So there are a lot of fair value gaps. So we have to be careful when we are expecting a reversal. Obviously the price has to balance out all these fair value gaps, and you might see like price can move into one of the fair value gaps and there is a small retracement before even going higher, and then it will tap into the second fair value gap and you will see a little bit retracement as well. Or it can happen that you just push through all these fair value gaps. But however, remember that whenever you have an expansion, you go through a consolidation phase and then another expansion happens. Okay, so if you look at 6 a.m. here, we can see that the previous 2 a.m. candle was a bullish candle. We took the high of the 2 a.m. candle on the 6 a.m. candle, and the idea for me going into today was to look for like higher prices, and the reason is because we have already met the sell side objective as we tapped into this daily and weekly BPR. So now I was expecting the price to move higher. So when 6 a.m. candle printed, I saw that the 2 a.m. high was taken, and I was pretty positive that we are going to take 6 a.m. Candle high as well in the 10 a.m. when the 10 a.m. candle forms. So let's go down to the 15-minute chart and see how it looks like. So before we go ahead, let's look at the times. So market started here. So this is your daily open, which is your 6 p.m. You can see that as soon as price opened for the day, we pushed lower and we wanted to see higher prices today. So technically the manipulation should be lower. So this is a good sign that we are currently moving in our desired direction. So we saw manipulation lower. After that, you see that there is a little bit of like retracement, and again we started distributing lower, and then a retracement again. So in this you can see like it is much more like consolidation, because if you look at the previous day's price action, we had a huge distribution, and then today we did a lot of accumulation, right? And then if you look at the bottom wicks that got printed here, we had an SMT with ES here, which confirms that price is going to potentially move higher. So if we look at the midnight open, which is this one, again as soon as midnight opened, we moved a little bit higher, but then again went lower, formed an SMT, validating this as a potential manipulation move to expand higher. Okay, so again we watched the price move high. As soon as 10 a.m. candle opened, we saw, because 10 a.m. we had news today, so as soon as 10 a.m. candle opened, we saw a large push down. Now this push, in order to validate that this is a manipulation, we want to see that the price again goes back pretty aggressively, and that's what you can see here is price moved down and then pulled back, and look at how the candle closed. It has a large wick. When you have such large wicks, there is a pretty higher chance that the price is not going to take this low, and this low is going to be a protected low. In such situations, we focus on a mean threshold of this particular wick, and the next candle that forms, we do not want that candle to breach the mean threshold of this wick. So we can see that even the mean threshold was respected and the price started expanding higher. So what I did was, if you look at the midnight open, which is this one, as well as the daily open, which is 6 p.m., I used this as a manipulation leg to draw my projections. So we can see usually our target is 2 to 2.5, right? However, like I said, this is a non-farm payroll week, and going into non-farm payroll, we do not expect large expansions, because after the news is released, that's when we can expect expansion to happen, after the news event. So before that, even though we have news, there is a chance that we will just accumulate. So I did not want to go for like large moves, so my focus was on like low hanging fruit, and which was the other fair value gap. So if you look at, we have a fair value gap here on the left, right? We have another one, let me draw this properly. We have another one which is here, and we have one more which is here, right? So the idea was, if you jump on a trade, then start trimming your positions here before you go and target the ones that are in the premium areas. Okay, so what was the trade idea going into today? So at 10 a.m. open, that is when your 10 a.m. power of the candle opens up. As soon as 10 a.m. opened, I saw the price move down pretty aggressively. I went down to the 5-minute chart to see how price was moving. You can see that as soon as the price moved down, we formed another SMT, which is a confirmation that this is a manipulation move to go higher. Dropped into the 1-minute chart here, you see we saw the same thing. We have an SMT here. As soon as we hit and formed this SMT at the lows, we saw a huge price move. to the upside. But obviously we did not have a change in state of delivery or a market structure shift, so you wait. The price moved again on the higher side. We moved to the upside of 10 a.m. open. We had a change in state of delivery as well as a market structure shift. We moved with displacement, forming a 1 minute buy model, and basically you just take, that's what I did at least. I took this entry here and tried to trim the position right at this point. So this point is nothing but your second fair value gap. So this is, if you look at like all these candles, this is a reference of like how 4-hour candle was. So after taking the position here, the first trimming that I did was the mean threshold of this fair value gap. So that was like right around like this area, and then I waited for the opening of this second fair value which it just touched, and then price start moving lower. But if you look at it, it's still a big move. That was almost like 120 to 130 points, and if you go all the way up, it's like close to 170 points. So it was a good move. Again, we have to be very careful when we are trading in the NFP week, because going into the NFP we do not see large moves. You will get chopped out in the accumulation, so always be careful. But it's good to read price any which ways, even though you don't trade. But today's day was pretty good. I think the analysis that we did, all our objectives were met. So anyways, that's all I had for today. If you have any questions, do let me know. I'll keep on documenting my journey and keep on doing these daily market recaps every day. All right, stay tuned for tomorrow. Well, thanks a lot. Take care.